Hey, what's happening guys? This is Nagpal for iGyaan. The Xiaomi Redmi 1S is about to go on sale on the 2nd of September 2014 in India. The company has about 40,000 units that they're going to be putting up for sale for pre-registered users on the website Flipkart. But the phone compares to quite a lot of handsets, and a lot of you guys have been asking us to compare it with the likes of the Motorola Moto E, which is priced roughly around the same price, as well as the Motorola Moto G, which is last year's G iteration of Motorola's lineup, which is slightly expensive, and it compares, or it used to compare, to the Mi3 in terms of pricing. So let's go ahead, and we're going to be comparing the Motorola Moto E, the Motorola Moto G, and the Xiaomi Redmi 1S. Let's start off with price. The Xiaomi Redmi 1S is going to go on sale for Rs 5,999, whereas the Motorola Moto E is available for 6,999. The Moto G got discounted from a price of 12,000 to 10,499 and is currently out of stock for the 8GB variant, but you can get the 16GB variant for around 12,000 rupees. If we talk about the display, we have quite a variety of displays over here. The Redmi 1S comes with a 4.7-inch display, which has a 720 by 1280 pixel resolution, giving it a total pixel density of 312 pixels per inch. It is an IPS display, which is fantastic. The Motorola Moto E comes with a 4.3-inch display, which has a 540 by 960 pixel resolution, so definitely a lower resolution, giving you a total of 256 pixels per inch. The Motorola Moto G has a similar 720 by 1280 pixel resolution, but on a 4.5-inch display, therefore giving it the maximum resolution, 326 pixels per inch as the pixel density. Now the Moto G also has Corning Gorilla Glass 3, and so does the Moto E. So both the Motorola devices have Gorilla Glass, but the Xiaomi Redmi 1S does not have Gorilla Glass. Now all three of these devices are GSM devices, and they have dual SIM capabilities, so they will work over 3G as well as 2G GSM networks on both the SIM cards. Let's get into processors. Now, the Redmi 1S, for a price of 6,000 rupees roughly, comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 on quad cores at 1.6 GHz, which is mighty impressive compared to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 200 at dual cores 1.2 GHz for the Motorola Moto E. Also comparing it to Moto G's Qualcomm Snapdragon 400, which is a quad core at 1.2 GHz, therefore definitely putting the Redmi 1S in the lead as far as specifications are concerned. All three of these devices have 1GB of RAM, and the Redmi 1S along with the Moto G have 8GB of storage, whereas the Moto E has 4GB of storage. Now the Redmi 1S does accept a micro SD card. Up to 64GB is what the company claims, and we did try a 32GB card, so that works flawlessly. The Motorola Moto E also supports up to a 32GB micro SD card, whereas the Moto G, which is the most expensive out of the lot, does not support a external SD card, which is a major disappointment for a lot of people. Now, as far as the battery is concerned, the Redmi 1S comes with a 2050 mAh battery, even though some places mention it to be 2000 mAh. So roughly 2000 to 2050 mAh battery. The Moto E comes with a 1980 mAh battery, as well as the Moto G, which comes with a 2070 mAh battery. So roughly around the same range, around the 2000 mAh range for all three of these devices. Now, all three of these devices do have GPS with AGPS and GLONASS, so that's great, and they will work flawlessly without any problem. All of them do come with Bluetooth version 4.0 with A2DP and LE. So again, in terms of Bluetooth, we are all in the right place. Now here's where it changes things a little bit. So the primary camera on the Redmi 1S is an 8 megapixel camera that does do 1080p video at 30 frames per second. The secondary camera is a 1.6 megapixel sensor that does do 720p video at 30 frames per second. Now the Moto E has only one camera, which is a main 5 megapixel camera, and that does not do 1080p video. In fact, it only does 480p video, which is going to be a major disappointment when you compare it to the Redmi 1S. The Moto G, on the other hand, has a similar 5 megapixel camera, but it only does 720p video at 30 frames per second. The Moto G does have a secondary 1.3 megapixel camera, but in terms of video quality and in terms of cameras, I feel that the Redmi 1S beats both the Moto E as well as the Moto G. The Moto E also lacks a flashlight or a LED flash for the camera, which is again a major letdown when compared to the Redmi 1S, which does have a LED flash, which the Moto G also has The Moto E at a price of 6,999 does not come with an LED flash, which can be disappointing. Now, as far as operating systems are concerned, this is where the Motorola devices take lead because you get Android 4.4 out of the box, so you are already on KitKat, whereas the Redmi 1S comes with 4.3 out of the box and a promised upgrade soon, but we are looking into at least a couple of months before we get updated to the latest version of MIUI. However, an update to KitKat depends on the update to MIUI, so therefore you are sort of linked onto that. The Moto E as well as the Moto G are going to be one of the fastest devices to get Android updates as far as the hardware is going to support it. The Motorola devices are going to get it. They also run a stockish version of Android, which is very bare, runs really smooth and fast, and also looks like stock Android, almost like a Nexus device, which some people will appreciate. Versus the MIUI, which is completely customized, is sort of iOS-like in terms of icons and the way the icons and the applications are shown. You also get a lot of themes and customizations, all of which will slow down functionality of the device quite a lot. At least with respect to specs in terms of pricing and overall usability of the device, I feel that the Xiaomi Redmi 1S seems to be a value for money package. But with the limited 40,000 units going on sale on 2nd September, a lot of people will be rushing to buy these and a lot of other resellers will be rushing to buy these from the website. So be sure to get in line and wait for one so that you can buy one, because this is truly a value for money product that is coming your way when compared to the Motorola Moto E as well as the Motorola Moto G. One good advantage over the Redmi is that the Motorola Moto E as well as the Motorola Moto G are both readily available at the time, and Motorola also has a really wide and extensive service network along with backed customer service support, which is excellent, which cannot be said for Xiaomi at the moment because they're struggling with their service support network, which is kept down at a low number of service centers alongside the country, apart from what Flipkart offers. So there you go, guys. This was our quick comparison between the three devices. Be sure to check out more details on iGyaan.in, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaan TV. For iGyaan Networks, this has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.